Q&A portion of this direct to exec event with some people that have some knowledge to share. And this guy right here definitely has some knowledge to share. You want to take it off of there? I've known this dude for a long time, man. I think might have been one of the first stages you ever rocked.
Absolutely.
With me back in the day, but he's done so much over the course of the last, I think 12, it was like 12 years ago, dogs.
Crazy.
Craziness. Y'all get up my homeboy Torae in the building with us, man. Show some love.
Yeah.
What up, y'all? So when I asked if they knew who Torae was, there was actually quite a few people in here that know who you are.
Nobody knows me.
They know you. And a lot of these guys are from across the country too. Got a lot of people from different places like Chicago, New Mexico, just all over the place. H-Town in the building, the whole nine, Oklahoma City, VA in the back. Let these guys know who you are, what you do. Give them a little snapshot of what you got going on right now.
Okay, word up. So like Hat said, my name is Torae. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I guess I'm like a modern day Renaissance man, honestly. Some of y'all might know me as an MC. I put out 2 solo albums and about 8, between mixtapes and collaborative projects, 8 projects in total, 2 solo albums. And some of y'all might know me from that. I've been on Sirius XM for the last 2 years with my own show, The Tour Guide on Hip Hop Nation. So some of y'all might know me from that. If you ever been to the Brooklyn Hip Hop Festival, I host that. If you ever watched BET red carpet coverage, I do that. I just came back from LA covering the Grammys. So I do that. I host a monthly showcase here in New York City called Faces in the Crowd. I'm the host of it. And I do so many things, man. Oh, if you saw the breaks on VH1, you might have saw me on that. You might have saw me. Just a few things, man. I'm just out here trying to be an active participant and contributor to the culture. So I guess in a snapshot, that's who Torae is.
That's what it is. That's good enough for a clap right there, man. So Torae, you've been one of the things about you that's always been admirable is you've never really gave up on your dream. You know what I mean? I think a lot of times, artists sometimes they get into it not really knowing what they're getting into. They start off wanting to be an artist, and then if they're not able to become an artist, or at least in their mindset, they kind of give up. You've been somebody that always kind of bobbed and weaved, found opportunities, built relationships, and found other avenues to make yourself relevant and visible. Mm-hmm. How important it is for now for an artist of today's climate of the music industry to do that?
I think it's really important. I was always told, always take the meeting. And I guess in a nutshell what that means is don't have so much tunnel vision and focus into one thing that you might miss another opportunity, another chance to get to it. Even myself, early on, one of the first people I worked with would always try to send me on these different jobs for commercials and for videos and things like that. And I was like, yo, no, I'm a rapper. I just want to go rap. I want to go to the studio. I want to jump on stage. I want to rap. Because I felt like if people saw you in a different light, then they wouldn't take the rap part serious. And I was so adamant about making sure people took me serious as a rapper. I said no to a lot of things. The times that I started to say yes turned into really good opportunities. He sent me on this one video shoot for a Cameron video. Cam was one of my favorite artists at the time, and so I went on the shoot and I got a chance to meet Cam and I got a chance to kick it with the whole Dips, and that turned into me kind of running with them for the next 3-4 years, and that was really my first foray into the business, into doing shows, into going into different labels and just kind of seeing the inner workings and the behind the scenes. But that might not have come about had I not went on the video, had I not been cast in that video. So, always try to figure out different ways and different avenues to get into it, especially when it's a commercial out right now and it's a bunch of little people trying to run through this one little door. And I think it's a dope analogy for what this hip hop thing is, man. So many people trying to run in through this little door and do the same thing and get noticed and get seen. In the commercial, the door widens up. But why not take another route, go through the other door, and still get into the office that way? So, by me doing radio now, I have a great relationship with the program director. So when I was going up there yo, please play my record, please play my record. Now it's yo, Reg, I got a new record out, album's out. No problem, so we got you 300 spins. You know what I'm saying? That's the difference, and that's how I'm able to continue to be an independent artist, but still do other things. For one, to keep me busy and to keep checks coming in between projects and between tours. And for two, it makes the route a little bit easier. You know, if it's like I need to meet somebody, everybody comes through that building. So, you know, that's how I started to form and build relationships. And, you know, I think it was one of the smartest things I could have did for my career. So when people look at me and see me as a radio host, I laugh because I'm like, nah, I'm a hustler. Like, this was rap. This was like me backdooring the rap situation, you know? And I'm happen to be pretty good at radio too, though.
That's what it is. But how difficult is it to balance all that? Because I think sometimes artists just have a hard enough time trying to figure out the musical side of it, the performance side of it. How do you balance it all out? Like, what's your day-to-day kind of looking like these days?
Balance is key. You know, even if you're doing two things, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to balance those two things outside of being all of the things I do professionally. I'm a father, I'm a husband, I'm a son, you know what I'm saying? So it was always important for me to figure out how to balance things, and I think that comes with understanding how to schedule things, understanding time management, being organized enough to put together a calendar, stick to the calendar, you know, and really maximize your time. Like, we all got the same 24 hours in a day, but you got to max it out, you know, and that comes from just me being somebody who was always organized, but also having people to help me organize things. So when I get, you know, Hatch is my man, when he was like, I need you here Saturday, it wasn't the cur. I was like, yo, yeah, no doubt. I sent it to my assistant. She put it on my calendar. So now I don't have to think about it. All I got to do is wake up in the morning, open my phone, see what I got to do, and then figure out what times I need to move to make it happen.
So it's almost like you kind of treated, you treat your entire career like a business. You have different facets, hosting,
absolutely business.
All these different things. What's the preparation like when you got to go to a red carpet opportunity and then you're interviewing, you know, Will.i.ams and all these other guys? How do you prep for something like that? Mentally, physically, how do you prep for something like that?
I think the advantage that I have is that I do genuinely love what I do, and I'm a fan. And so, you know, I can come from a space of already having information and knowledge, and it's not a bunch of me sitting at the computer trying to cram things in that I'm not already aware of. Like, I follow what's going on in music, I follow what's going on in pop culture, I'm a part of that. And so the conversation comes a lot easier. If there's one or two things that are going on that I need to brush up on, then I definitely do that. But for the most part, I think being involved in the culture and being submerged in it, you naturally have these information, you naturally have these inquiries, you naturally have these things you want to ask people, you know, and so it just kind of comes to second nature.
You recently dropped a project called Entitled.
Yeah.
I really wanted you to explain to these guys your thought process behind putting together the Kickstarter program, all your merchandising involved, the fact that it debuted at number 57 on Billboard, right? Talk to them about the process. 'Cause I think a lot of times artists want to release music to the world and try to sell it, but it might not be the best rollout. They might not have much promotion behind it. Their buzz might not be where it needs to be. How did you prepare for that? And talk about the whole process in general.
You know, it's funny that you use those words, the rollout, the buzz, the preparation, because all of those things is why I did the Kickstarter. You know, like, the Kickstarter I did, I raised $10,000, which was dope. It was cool. I was excited that the people came out and supported it. But I think the misconception is that I did the album with $10,000, which anybody who really knows these things knows, like, $10,000 might get you some artwork in the video, or it might get you mastering in half mix. You know what I'm saying? Like, that $10,000 went to, I got Pete Rock, Premier, Knots, Jalil Beats, like, I got heavy hitters on the album. So even though I got the homie rate, like, that 10 grand didn't even cover 3 beats on the album. So that for me was more about the analytics. It was like, okay, first and foremost, see who's gonna show up. I got 30,000 followers on this platform and that. Now let's see how many of these people are really there to watch or who's really there to be involved. And so I looked at it from an analytics point of view. I wanted to see who was gonna be the $10 supporter, like, yo, when the album comes, send me my copy, here's your 10, as opposed to the $500 guy who's like, yo, come to my house and let's listen, and I want to, you know, have a conversation and to sit down, and I had people on both ends of the spectrum. The $10 guy, I got to figure out how to get you to a $50 guy. I want you to not only want the CD, but I want you to want the hat and the shirt too. The shirt and the hat guy, you got to get the t-shirt, you know what I'm saying? You got to get the t-shirt, the CD, and the vinyl. That guy got to be the 500 guy. So it was about me kind of figuring out how to level everybody up. In addition to it, it was a great form of promotion because they started to talk about it and they started to tell their friends about it. Like, yo, if Tour don't hit the 10, no, we get nothing. So you encouraging your man. So that's helping me spread it word of mouth. And it was just a whole, it was a whole kind of like a collaborative thing of the way I wanted to roll out the project, get people excited, and also make people feel like they were part of it. I think that so many artists, this is my music, I'm doing this, and I'm giving it to the people. I've been doing this, I've been putting out records for 10 years. You know what I'm saying? Like my first joint came out January 2006. So like legit 10 years I've been putting out records. So for me, it was like, I want people to understand that they're a part of this process and a part of this journey and a part of this album. Like y'all watched me, y'all helped me build up to this point to get here 10 years later. I want y'all to be a part of this thing with me. And so I felt like the Kickstarter was a dope way to really get everybody involved and included. So now when people buy the album, they like, yo, the number one comment I see is like, yo, I'm so happy to be a part of this album. I'm so happy I backed it. It's such a dope project. And, I think that really builds lifeline. I don't like to use the word fans, but people who support you, that's what you need for a career. You could get hot, you could put a record out, you could be the biggest thing 2015, 2016, 2017, you fizzle out. Or you could steadily grow for 10 years and still have an upside, and that's kind of what my career is.
That's dope. So when you saw the Billboard charting, explain how that feels, because I mean, you're talking about millions of releases over the course of a year from all different genres and different people, and you open up this link and you see Billboard, and he's at the top 200, and you're charting number 57 alongside of people that we all listen to on a daily basis. So first of all, how does that feel, knowing that you put in all that work and got to that level? I mean, was that even something you set out to do?
Absolutely. For this one, it was something I actually put in the atmosphere. I was like, yo, we deserve to hit that Billboard. We deserve to break in that top 200. We deserve that. Like, we've been putting in work. We're going to give you guys quality music. We deserve that. Let your people know, get out there and support it. There's no $1 million budget behind this project. There's no Jay-Z standing here or no Dre standing here. This is just good-ass music that the people, if given the opportunity to hear, would love. Right. And so it was something I put out, and I think I'm a firm believer in what you put out there into the atmosphere you get back. And so it was something I put out there that I wanted to crack that Billboard. It was dope. I was a little, I won't say afraid, but I thought that we might have a problem because when I was releasing my album was right along the same week as Christmas and New Year's. And so everything shuts down. Everybody get lazy. That week everything shut down, but the week prior to that, everybody gets lazy and start really moving slow. And so the distributor on the CD side ended up missing the date. He was like, yo, Torae, we're not gonna hit the 15th. It's not gonna happen until the following week. And he was like, we drop releases every 2 weeks. So it turned my release date of the 15th into the 29th on physical. So my charting was strictly digital, which was dope that we still was able to hit it, because I'm like, imagine if the CDs would have hit. And it also didn't count the 200 people who backed it on Kickstarter. So that was an additional 200 that we missed. So I was like, we gonna lose all of that. Yeah. We might not get it. I was still excited, I was still happy. I was like, we might not get it. So the fact that we were able to break into, and it's like number 23 on hip hop and R&B or something like that charts, and it's just dope, man, to see yourself in that category with your peers, and understanding I did it fully independent. I did it from my crib, you know what I mean? My little 1,200 square feet condo in the corner where the computer desk is and the phone is at. Like, I did it from there, and it's a testament that if you work hard and you really go at it, you can do anything you want. So I was super excited and happy, and everybody who got involved and who backed it was excited about that, because we all felt like we did something.
Yeah, I was a $70 backer. I got the sweatshirt and then the CD and all that.
You got it, right? You got all your stuff?
I got everything.
Okay,
yes,
making sure the team.
It was a great
make sure the team is not doing what they supposed to do.
Absolutely. That's why I called you to say I didn't get it, and I'm upset about it. Nah, the reality of it is too. And he said, you guys know who DJ Premier is, right? Y'all know Pete Rock, Knots, all these incredible producers. One of the things that Torae's always been really, really good at is building relationships, and real relationships. Not necessarily just somebody you might have met on Instagram or, Twitter or had their email, but it's actually like going out. And I think the balance really these days is probably more important than anything, to be able to focus on the online strategy, but also to get out, shake hands, kiss babies, be the mayor of your project. So how do you balance that out? Because again, you're talking to other artists, you're talking to bloggers, you're talking to people on red carpet. How do you balance out the relationship building game for yourself?
I feel it out. Like, I never force a relationship. I think relationships are organic. It's funny because I was just talking to a school of kids last week, or this week actually, a couple days ago, and I was telling them how important relationships were, even in this stage of their life. I was like, if you hang out with the bad kids, you're gonna, even if you're not a bad kid, you're gonna get labeled as a bad kid, and people gonna automatically look at you a certain way. I think the same thing goes with the persistence of an artist. You know, like, I think being persistent is key. I think being annoying, pushy, I think being overwhelming is bad. You know, people would tell you, nah, go hard, go to the wheels fall off, but I think you will leave a negative taste in people's mouths, and they won't want to work with you, they won't want to hear you out. So it's just about understanding how to feel it out, and I'm not sure if that everybody has that trait, that skill. You know, it's a skill set. I think naturally I'm a people person. If I feel your vibe and I feel like there's something there, I'm gonna work on it. If I don't, I'll pull back. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not here to be extra pressed. You know what I'm saying? So the people I have great relationships with, I have, and sometimes I don't have relationships with certain people. Like, I was just sitting here and I was looking at all the coverage on the project and some of the things that I was able to get done. And then I looked at all the things that we weren't able to get done. And I'm like, man, I know that guy. I know the guy that's the editor-in-chief, or I know the guy who sits on the top of this committee. They didn't push the button because that relationship isn't solid, it's not strong. So it's not for me to force it. You know, all I can do is my part and work on it. And if they not with it, they not with it. You know, but it's never about forcing it. So I think it's for the most part, just to answer your question, it's understanding where you are in the relationship, understanding how to work that relationship, and not, like I said, be pushy. But everybody is there's a saying my brother, the late great Sean Price, used to say, if you can't be used, you're useless. You know, and sometimes people look at use with a negative connotation, but it's not true. You know what I'm saying? Like, you my man. You hit me up, so I'm doing this and this and that. I'm being used right now. Not in a bad way. You using me for this information to give to these people, and I appreciate it. And if you can't be used, you're useless. Like, so understand where you are in the relationship, how you can be a benefit to somebody else, and understand how they can be a benefit to you, and then figure out how to take that relationship and make it bounce.
I think that's one of the probably the biggest misconceptions when it comes to relationships is that, you know, sometimes people approach people and they're like, yo, I'm the, and it's always about them. That, you know, you got to realize in a relationship it's got to be mutually beneficial. The word help is a very loose term in this music industry. Like, there's no reason why after 20 years of building my relationships with people, and, you know, after all the knowledge that we've gained and learned, that we have to help somebody else. Like, we help because we want to, but nobody's obligated to help you. This is on you. So, but if we have a relationship and I know you work hard and you grind hard, like, that's why I said, let me hit my man with the 70 package instead of the 10 package, because I know he works hard. I want to try to help him out the best I can. If I had an opportunity for somebody and I know they work hard and they grind hard, I'm going to do what I can to help them out. I see a lot of people that come out to the Coast to Coast convention, they come out here, they come to iStandard. If I see that and I understand that you guys are working as hard as you can, I know that I could try to help you. But if you're just out here for the first time and you don't really know how to talk to people, and like, oh, I'm the dopest kid in this city and you should fuck with me and I got 1,000 fans on Instagram, like, it's not about that, man. It's about how can we help each other out. It's about us. So it's got to be mutually beneficial. What do you think is the best piece of advice or the best thing you've learned over the course of the years that you kind of carry with you throughout your journey? Like, you have a mantra or anything you live by?
Well, never settle is kind of like the motto that I came up with for myself as a kid. And that simply means, you know, just always go hard, always put your best foot forward. Never settle for less. You know, no matter what you're doing, try to go as hard as you can in it and be the best in it. And that goes for anything. If you make shirts, if you make beats, if you know what I mean, if you come up with melody, like whatever it is, try to be the best. Never settle for second best, never settle for less. And then two things that we touched on in this is really building strong relationships, and relationships, not just I need you for something, but real relationships that work both ways. And the persistence, you know, you gotta be persistent. You gotta stay, like, if you really love it and you really want to do it. I could have been discouraged. You think about all the people that was doing the showcases when I came around, like, a lot of those cats is gone. A lot of those cats is doing other things, like they didn't stay at it. And me, it was just like, I got here, okay, the big deal didn't come. Now what do I do? Do I just totally X out everything that I did to get to this point, or do I just start to maneuver through it and figure it out? And that's when I had to start to just dig deep and figure out what else it was that I was good at, what else I could do, and how to still pursue my dream without maybe going the initial route that I thought it was going to go. So that persistence is key, and it led me to do so many amazing things and meet so many amazing people. And I still got a long way to go, man. Like every day I just wake up super excited because I never know what that day is going to hold. I never know what that phone call is going to be. The relationship at radio came because of my relationship with DJ Eclipse and the program director. Me being cast in the breaks came from my relationship with Fonte, who was working on the film. My relationships always snowball into the next thing and the next thing, and that's because people know, one, when they call me, I'm gonna be professional, I'm gonna be on time, I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna do what I'm supposed to do, and two, they understand that the talent is there, so it's not like a where you have to trade off one for the other. Like, he's a great business person, but on the talent, it's like when those things meet, you get somebody that you can really work with, and you'll continue to work.
Absolutely. Y'all get it for Torae, man. Show him some love. Talk to y'all. One last thing, man. If you can give a lot of these guys advice, because they're coming from all over the place to perform in front of an A&R. I told them it's not about getting a deal in front of an A&R, but they want to get that feedback. They want to get put on the radar, start building relationships. What advice can you give these guys, knowing that they're investing in themselves, like you did at one point, that might help them kind of follow their dream to where they need to be?
I think now is one of the best times in this industry because you guys have so many things at your disposal. The internet is such a powerful tool. It's not just to log onto the gram and look at joints. And, you know what I mean? Like, you use that internet and you max that bitch out and you build up a fan base in the middle of fucking Siberia. And then you go there and you rock for those 3,000 people and you cake out. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so many things you could do. I think that people just kind of scratch the surface as to the resources that they have. I came from the mixtape era where you was out there in the streets trying to get on people's mixtapes, and you was standing outside hot trying to meet Slay and trying to meet Clue, and now it's a different beast. Like, you can build up a fan base, you can build up a following, you can have a real support, you can start to do shows. I think one of the biggest success stories is a kid, like, you look at that kid Chance the Rapper from Chicago. Fan base crazy, never a big radio artist. I mean, he's been on Saturday Night Live, all that shit, on the New Year album. Like, this is a kid who built his team and had a solid team, super talented, but I think he was so off people's radar, like, you kind of heard about it, but he was over there cooking. He was really, really cooking and really bubbling. And, I think it's a testament to just him understanding the internet, understanding having a good team and of people who do want, you the video man. Don't try to get on stage and grab a mic. Don't try to you the video guy. Understand your position. You're the producer. You make the joints. We don't want you jumping on the record. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody understanding their position. Everybody really being locked in. And I mean, the saying is teamwork make the dream work. So establishing a solid team and really utilizing all of these resources, these social networks and the invention of the internet and all that shit, and you can do it. And you don't have to go looking for a deal. The deal will come looking for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you out there selling 10, 20, 30,000 records and you knocking out these shows and you packing out these events and in these venues, they're gonna come find you because they want a piece of that money. It's not so much money floating around this industry now that they can walk away from money that's being made. They want to figure out how to take your 10,000 sold and turn it to 100,000. So they're gonna come find you. If you do that work, and investing in yourself is key. The fact that you guys are all here on a Saturday, I commend you guys. So let me clap for y'all for being here and believing in yourselves that much to want to take a step like this to work towards your future and building it. But just believe in yourself, invest in yourself, and really max out all these different tools and opportunities you have in front of you, because this is what's going to take you to that next level.
Dope. Can you give me your social media information, also your radio information, so they could log on and check it out? Yeah, man. I know some of y'all in town. Y'all got that rental car. Check me out on Sirius XM, Hip Hop Nation Channel 44. I'm on Sunday through Friday. Actually, they overworking me, but it's all good. I love it. If you love what you do, it's not really work. So that Sirius XM, Hip Hop Nation Channel 44, and Torae, Torae, simple, across all my social platforms, or you can go to itstorae.com, which is the Walmart for Torae. You can find everything you need right there.
Thank you for having me, Hatch. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you, bro. Y'all get up for Torae one time, man. All right, cool. So we're gonna wait for Success to get here, get started in the other room, so y'all can chill out.
Nice.
Ace gonna play a little music. I think Torae gotta go get a haircut. Maybe he can take a couple flicks with y'all. But there's some food over there. Help yourself. You hungry, Tor? And go ahead, Ace. Do your thing, man.